Hello students, now I'll be starting the third chapter, that is water. Water is indispensable for life, so its importance you all know everywhere in our life. But today we'll study the chemical aspect of water, that why water is known as universal solvent, what are hydrated or anhydrous substances. So, what are the different properties of water? That is, efflorescence, deliquescence, hygroscopy, and their definitions and examples. We will also study about the drying and dehydrating agents, the meaning of the word drying and dehydrating agent, the difference between the two, then the quality of water being as soft water and hard water, and then we will study the chemical removal of hardness by adding different chemicals and the action of soap on both the types of water, that is soft water and hard water. So first we'll start with the formula you all are aware of, that is H2O. The chemical name is dihydrogen oxide and molecular mass is H is 2, 1 H is 1, then 2H will be 2 and 1 oxygen, that is 16. So 16 plus 2 is equal to 18 AMU. That is atomic mass unit. We've already studied about atomic mass unit. That is the unit of molecular mass. So that means one molecule of water weighs 18 AMU, atomic mass unit. So the shape of water is like this, and the reason you will be studying in class 10th, that the reason is the lone pair repulsion and the repulsion between lone pair and the bond pair, that is shared pair, and because of that this water molecule becomes wedge shaped. This is wedge shaped. Okay, then looking at the in water molecule, you can see here the bonding is covalent bonding in water molecule. Both the hydrogen are attached to the oxygen atom by covalent bond. Okay, covalent bonding we'll study later on in chemical bonding. That is your fourth chapter, atomic structure and chemical bonding. There you will come to know that what is covalent bonding. Okay, you all know that Earth's area is occupied with water, and that water, the coverage is 70% of Earth's area. Okay, but only 2.5% of this water is for fresh water supply, which includes even the frozen water in polar ice caps and glaciers. Water cycle we all are aware of. You are studying water cycle since class 5, that it is the circulation of water in all the three physical states on Earth. On polar ice caps, it is in the form of solid, that is ice. In rivers, lakes, oceans, it is in the form of water, that is liquid. And in the atmosphere, it is present as water vapor, that is in the gaseous form. Form changes from one form to another depending upon the climatic condition. So, water is the major constituent of everything, even plants, animal, human beings. They also contain approximately 70% of body weight as in the form of water. Water is available in free and combined state both. Now, why water is known as universal solvent? Because it has the ability to dissolve wide range of substance. Okay, so this is the answer for this question, that why water is considered as universal solvent. Water is responsible for all the life processes occurring in the nature. So it supports life, and the sustenance of life on earth is supported by water. Sustenance means the ability to survive, to sustain. So, but because of this property, the ability of water to dissolve anything, water gets polluted very easily, because many things dissolve in water, even the unwanted things also dissolve in. So the water which we want to drink, okay, that water can be first of all filtered, so that any suspended impurities which can be filtered out. So first filtration is done to remove those unwanted impurities, and then dissolved impurities or bacterial impurities you can remove by distillation or by adding some amount of chlorine. So chlorine kills the germs and bacteria, and so chlorine can be used to purify water. Let's see some physical properties of water. It is colorless, odorless, and tasteless. It has got no color, it has got no smell, that is odorless, and no taste. Pure water does not taste. The water which you drink at home tastes, okay? And this is the reason for it. ये reasoning का question है. तो QR लिखेंगे इसमें. QR मतलब reasoning का question है ये कि what add taste to water? So you will write the taste in water is due to the gases and solids dissolved in it. तो impurities हैं वो जो आपको taste देती हैं, but those impurities do not harm us. Okay, although pure water में कुछ भी dissolve नहीं होता है, जो हमारा drinking water है उसमें gases और minerals होने ही चाहिए ताकि वो हमारे जो important minerals हैं हमारी body के लिए जो needed है, they should be there in that water, and thus mineral water trend has already started. Okay. Boiling point under normal pressure. This is normal atmospheric pressure, standard atmospheric pressure, that is STP. Under normal pressure, that is 760 mm of Hg mercury, pure water boils at 100 degree. Your water which you drink at home or your tap water will not boil at 100 degrees Celsius, because this boiling point is only of pure water, and pure water is actually distilled water. The boiling point of water can be affected, can be increased or decreased if some impurities are added to it. What is the definition of boiling point? What is boiling point? So boiling point is the temperature when vapor pressure is equal to the atmospheric pressure. जब vapor pressure बराबर हो जाता है किसके? Atmospheric pressure के. This we can understand by this diagram. Suppose I am putting a pressure here. If I increase this pressure, this is atmospheric pressure, then what will happen? The water molecules will remain like this. They will not be able to come out. Although I am providing heat here. I am already providing heat. So molecules are moving vigorously, but because of this pressure, they are not able to go out and expand and to form gas. But suppose if I decrease this pressure, then what will happen? If I decrease this pressure, then, and this pressure is more, so these water molecules will move up and will expand, and then it will form a vapor or a gas. Got it? So as soon as the atmospheric pressure decreases and it comes at the same level of vapor pressure, then boiling starts. The greater the pressure, the higher the boiling point. Okay, that means it will take more temperature to boil if you are putting pressure. अगर आपने pressure लगा रखा है तो bubbles जो है वो जो water molecules हैं, they will not be easily converted to gaseous molecules. Okay, so इसी principle पे हमारा क्या work करता है? Pressure cooker. So the pressure cooker works on this principle. Pressure cooker increases the boiling point and things get cooked easily, because the water does not changes into water vapor at a low temperature of 100 degree. The temperature, the boiling point increases, and thus things are cooked properly and in quick time. So this is the principle by which pressure cooker works. So in the hills, water boils at a temperature lower than 100 degrees Celsius. क्योंकि वहां पे क्या है, वहां पे जैसे जैसे आप हाइट पकड़ेंगे ऊपर की तरफ जाएंगे, एटमॉस्फेरिक प्रेशर बिकम्स लो. तो यहाँ पे जैसे हमने पढ़ा था ग्रेटर द प्रेशर, तो मतलब प्रेशर और जो बॉइलिंग पॉइंट है वो डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल है. इफ यू इंक्रीज द प्रेशर you will be increasing the boiling point, but suppose pressure decreases, तो boiling point also decreases. तो hills पे क्या होगा, जो water है वो पता चला 70 डिग्री पे, जैसे माउंट एवरेस्ट है वहां पे 70 डिग्री पे ही वेपर स्टेट में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा. तो आपने मान लीजिए खाना पकने के लिए रखा उसमें, और पानी तो पहले ही बॉईल हो गया, तो सारा खाना ड्राई हो गया और ठीक से कुक नहीं हो पाया. तो इसलिए जो हिल्स हैं उनके लिए ही प्रेशर कुकर बनाया गया था so that the pressure can be increased and so that boiling point also can be increased, vice versa. But later on this pressure cooker was used everywhere, so because it makes cooking faster. और आप कैसे boiling point को increase कर सकते हैं? You can increase the boiling point of water by dissolving impurities in it. तो आपने notice किया होगा your mother adds salt to the water when she's boiling some hard pulses or legumes like rajma and chole. जब वो boil करती हैं तो उसमें नमक डाल देती हैं. तो actually में the process of adding salt is that she is increasing the boiling point of water by adding this impurity of table salt. Okay, now freezing point, boiling point हमने समझ लिया. Freezing point of water is 0 degree Celsius. So 0 degree Celsius पे जो pure water है under normal pressure, that is 1 atmosphere, it changes into ice and thus solidifies. And this freezing point of water decreases with the increase in pressure. तो boiling point कैसा था? Directly proportional था. Freezing point जो है वो inversely proportional है. ठीक है, the freezing point of water decreases with increase in pressure. More the pressure, less is the freezing point. More the freezing point, less is the pressure. Freezing point also decreases due to the presence of dissolved impurities in it. तो freezing point जो है वो decrease हो जाता है अगर आप उसमें impurities dissolve कर दे. At 4 degrees Celsius, water has its maximum density. ये इसको याद करेंगे. At 4 degrees, maximum density of water is at 4 degree Celsius. याद रखेंगे. ये सबसे भारी पानी जो है वो होगा आपका 4 degree Celsius पे. The density of water is 1 gram per centimeter cube or 1000 kg per meter. So here you will come to know that water expands on freezing. So water expands on freezing, that is 92 volumes of water become 100 volumes of ice. If you take 92 volumes of water and you freeze it, it will become 100 volume. That means it expands. Relative density means the density, the relation of density with water, it will become 0.92 and thus it is lighter. The density is less as compared to water. So ice floats on water. And now this phenomenon of water expanding on freezing, which is very peculiar, which is not common, and because whenever we say that something is changes into solid, its density increases. Okay, density increase कर जाती है, भारी हो जाती है चीज, dense हो जाते हैं, molecules come closer when it changes to solid, so density increases. But with water, what is happening? When it is becoming ice, that is becoming solid, its density is decreasing. So this unusual property, so physical property, that water contracts in volume first and then like other liquid. अगर आपने पानी को ठंडा करना शुरू किया तो जैसे बाकी लिक्विड्स करते हैं कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करने लगेगा, वॉल्यूम कम होने लगेगा. लेकिन जैसे ही वो 4 डिग्री सेल्सियस से नीचे जाने शुरू करेगा, दैट मीन्स 3 डिग्री सेल्सियस, देन 2 डिग्री सेल्सियस, देन व्हाट विल हैपन? देन इट स्टार्ट्स एक्सपैंडिंग. वो एक्सपैंड करने लगता है और कंटिन्यू करता है कब तक? 0 डिग्री सेल्सियस पे. तो 0 डिग्री सेल्सियस पे जब वो पहुंचता है तो वो कैसा और ज्यादा एक्सपैंड हो चुका होता है, एंड दस एट 0 डिग्री सेल्सियस it changes into ice, that is solidifies. and यहाँ पे ये डेंसिटी दी हुई है हमारी, the maximum density, and you can see the maximum density is at 4 degree Celsius, is at 4 degree Celsius. You can understand it from here that this is the heaviest water. ये heavy है यहाँ पे क्योंकि इसकी डेंसिटी सबसे ज्यादा है. जैसे जैसे टेम्परेचर आप कम करते जा रहे हैं, कूल करते जा रहे हैं, वैसे वैसे जो वाटर है वो कैसा होता जा रहा है? वो हल्का होता जा रहा है. और जब जैसे ही वो 0 डिग्री पे पहुंचता है वो सबसे लाइटेस्ट हो जाता है, लाइट हो जाता है बहुत, और उस लाइट की वजह से वो क्या होता है? वो फ्लोट करता है. इट floats on water. So ice floats on water. This is the reason. So heaviest water is at 4 degrees Celsius. The more you cool, that means you come around 0 degrees Celsius, it becomes lightest. So this is known as anomalous expansion of water. And what is the reason behind this anomalous expansion? The reason is that God has enabled marine life to exist in the colder region. सपोज आइस जो है 0 डिग्री पे सबसे हैवी होती तो पहले यहाँ से नीचे से जमना शुरू करती ना, यहाँ पे ओके। तो यहाँ पे अगर 0 डिग्री पे सबसे हैवी होता तो यहाँ पे आइस नीचे से जमनी शुरू करती, फिर धीरे 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 वो ऊपर की तरफ जमते हुए चली जाती। तो जो मरीन लाइफ है उसका एग्जिस्टेंस खत्म हो जाता। जैसे ही टेम्परेचर कम होना शुरू होता, ठंड पड़नी शुरू होती, द आइस वुड हैव स्टार्टेड फॉर्मिंग फ्रॉम द लोएस्ट लेयर ऑफ वाटर, और उसके बाद सी का जो सबसे लोएस्ट लेयर है वहां से जमना शुरू करता और सारी मरीन लाइफ को फ्रीज कर देता, खत्म कर देता। तो अभी क्या है, बिकॉज ऑफ दिस टेंडेंसी, द कितनी भी ठंड हो जाए बाहर तो यहाँ पे जो आइस है ये ऊपर की तरफ रहेगा और जो मरीन लाइफ है वो आराम से यहाँ पे सरवाइव करेगी। मरीन लाइफ, ओके, मरीन लाइफ विल सरवाइव हियर एंड दिस आइस विल एक्ट एज अ प्रोटेक्टिव लेयर ऑल्सो, क्योंकि ये सनलाइट को तो अंदर जाने दे रही है, लाइट को अंदर जाने दे रही है, बट जो बाहर का कोल्ड एटमॉस्फेयर है उसको अंदर नहीं जाने दे रही है। तो इट एक्ट्स एज अ प्रोटेक्टिव लेयर फॉर marine animals. Next is the latent heat of fusion of ice. Now, what is the latent heat? First of all, we'll know about the definition of latent heat. So, the definition says that it is the amount of heat required to change a substance from solid state to liquid state. यानी कि जो melt हो रहा है solid state, आइस से जब वो वाटर में लिक्विड में चेंज हो रहा है तो जो अमाउंट ऑफ हीट इट टेक्स, दैट इज नोन एज द लेटेंट हीट ऑफ फ्यूजन. सो फ्रॉम सॉलिड इट चेंजेस टू लिक्विड, और जब वो सॉलिड से लिक्विड में चेंज करेगा तो क्या होगा, इट विल टेक सम एनर्जी, एनर्जी विल बी टेकन. दिस एनर्जी or heat, this heat energy is known as latent heat of fusion. फ्यूजन मतलब मेल्ट, फ्यूजन का मतलब होता है मेल्टिंग, है ना, पढ़ा है हमने. तो फ्यूजन जो है, फ्यूजन ऑफ आइस हो रहा है सॉलिड को, पहले आपके जो सॉलिड पार्टिकल्स हैं बहुत क्लोज क्लोज बैठे हुए, दे आर वेरी क्लोज, यू विल गिव देम एनर्जी इन द फॉर्म ऑफ हीट, हीट देंगे आप उसको तो मॉलिक्यूल्स के अंदर क्या इंक्रीज हो जाएगी, काइनेटिक एनर्जी increases and they will start moving vigorously and then they will change into liquid state. So the amount of heat which you have given to change solid to liquid, this is known as latent heat of fusion of ice. Okay, now the amount, and without any change in temperature, चेंज नहीं होगा टेम्परेचर, ऑल्दो आप हीट दे रहे हो लेकिन वो हीट सब कहाँ जा रही है, दैट हीट इज एक्चुअली यूटिलाइज्ड टू चेंज द स्टेट. आपको याद होगा मेनी टाइम्स आई हैव गिवन यू एग्जांपल दैट सपोज यू हैव केप्ट वाटर इन अ पॉट एंड नाउ यू आर बॉइलिंग दैट वाटर, water boils at 100 डिग्री सेल्सियस. सपोज यू हैव टेकन प्योर वाटर, ठीक है, आपने एक प्योर वाटर लिया है यहाँ पे इसके अंदर and you are heating it. जो टेम्परेचर जैसे ही 100 डिग्री पे पहुंचेगा तो this will start changing into vapor, but the temperature of this thing will not increase beyond 100 degree Celsius. Then the reason is the heat which you are giving is utilized in the conversion of state. यहाँ पे जो भी molecules हैं वो उस heat को absorb कर रहे हैं, eat कर रहे हैं, and then they are converting into vapor. So the heat is utilized. So जो temperature है वहां पे, यहाँ का जो temperature है that will remain constant till a single drop of water is present there. उस single drop of water का भी जो temperature है वो constant रह जाएगा जब तक कि state change नहीं हो जाएगी. Okay? The amount of heat required by ice to change into water is called latent heat of fusion of ice. और जो वैल्यू है उसकी वो क्या है आपको याद करना पड़ेगा उसकी. The specific value is 336 joules per gram और 80 calories per gram. ये तो हो गया इतनी एनर्जी वो ले लेगा है ना. अमाउंट ऑफ हीट रिक्वायर्ड बाय द आइस विल टेक दिस अमाउंट ऑफ हीट. बट सपोज उस लिक्विड को कन्वर्ट करना है आइस में. हमें इस लिक्विड को वी आर कन्वर्टिंग. अब हम उल्टा प्रोसेस कर रहे हैं. वी आर कन्वर्टिंग लिक्विड टू सॉलिड. तो वो क्या करेगा, वो उतनी एनर्जी रिलीज कर देगा क्योंकि पार्टिकल्स को क्लोज आना है तो काइनेटिक एनर्जी कम होनी चाहिए. तो इट विल रिलीज ऑल द हीट. तो वो क्या होगी, वो भी इतनी ही होगी 336 जूल पर ग्राम और 80 कैलोरी पर ग्राम is the amount of energy released when 1 gram of water solidifies to form 1 gram of ice at 0 degree Celsius. तो जितनी एनर्जी वो लेगा टू कन्वर्ट आइस इनटू वाटर उतनी एनर्जी रिलीज कर देगा वाटर चेंजेस टू ice when water changes to ice. So this is the same amount of energy. Okay. So water की बहुत high specific latent heat of solidification है. मतलब solid बनने के लिए, liquid से solid बनने के लिए उसको जो energy release करता है वो उसकी specific latent heat of solidification हो जाएगी. और वो जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा है. And that is why lakes and rivers do not freeze suddenly. This is reasoning का question. QR. तो जो अगर क्वेश्चन आता है why do lakes and rivers do not freeze suddenly, so the answer will be because of high specific latent heat of solidification. सारे वर्ड आने चाहिए. खाली specific high specific heat मत लिख दीजिएगा. खाली high specific latent heat मत लिख दीजिए. पूरा वर्ड लिखेगा high specific latent heat of solidification. तो ये जो latent heat of solidification है इतनी ज्यादा होती है इसीलिए lakes and rivers do not freeze suddenly. So what is the violence associated with torrential rain? Actually, what happens when the warm air rises up after the heating of sun's rays? Suppose sun has heated the water. ये sun है आपका. इस sun ने जो heat कर दिया है atmosphere को. So this raises in the form of water vapor. और यहाँ पे cold है चूंकि, ठीक है, यहाँ पे थोड़ा ठंडा है atmosphere. So what will happen? When this water vapor reaches the sky, it releases the latent heat of condensation. और उसकी वजह से क्या होता है, यहाँ पे जो है वो density कैसी हो जाती है, density becomes less. और जैसे ही density less होती है यहाँ पे तो क्या होता है, जितने भी ये clouds हैं ये अपनी जो rain है वो एकदम से release कर देते हैं और heavy downpour होता है. There's a heavy downpour. And this heavy rain is known as torrential rain, and it is accompanied by heavy thunderstorm and lightning. So the reason is because of latent heat of condensation. Now comes specific heat capacity. So first we will see the definition that 1 gram of water when heated through 1 degree Celsius, it always absorbs a fixed amount of energy, that is 4.2 joules or 1 calorie. Okay, so the fixed amount of heat, which is absorbed by 1 gram of water is known as specific heat capacity. So you should learn the definition. What is specific heat capacity? The amount of heat which is absorbed by 1 gram of water to increase its temperature by 1 degree Celsius. Okay, and it is always fixed. That is 4.2 joules or 1 calorie. So because of this high specific heat, it is used as a coolant in motor car radiators. ये भी question आ गया आपका reasoning का. Why water is used as a coolant in motor car radiators and desert cooler? So because of its high specific heat capacity. And what is this specific heat capacity? That it needs a large amount of heat energy to raise its temperature. तो suppose आपका radiator है उसमें as a coolant आपने water को fill किया हुआ है तो वो engine की बहुत सारी heat लेगा तब जाके उसका 1 डिग्री सेल्सियस टेम्परेचर बढ़ेगा. ओके, सो और यही रीजन है, दिस इज ऑल्सो रीजनिंग क्वेश्चन, दैट how water is able to modify the climate of the nearby land areas. कहीं पे पानी अगर है तो आसपास का जो लैंड एरिया है उसका टेम्परेचर को मॉडिफाई कर लेता है, क्लाइमेट को मॉडिफाई कर लेता है. एंड द रीजन इज दैट water has high specific heat capacity, and because of this high specific heat capacity, water absorbs a lot of heat but remains colder, because for increasing 1 degree Celsius temperature of water, we will need 1 calorie of heat energy. So very high specific heat capacity, and that is why you must have studied about land and sea breezes in the junior classes. So you all know that what is land and sea breeze, and how the places which are near sea are moderate in temperature. ठीक है, मॉडरेट होता है उनका टेम्परेचर, कभी बहुत गर्म नहीं होता है, बहुत ही ज़्यादा ठंडा नहीं होता है, क्योंकि वो जो लैंड बॉडी, जो वाटर बॉडी है, इट मॉडिफाइज द क्लाइमेट ऑफ नियर बाय लैंड एरियाज बिकॉज ऑफ दिस हाई स्पेसिफिक हीट कैपेसिटी. Water is a remarkable solvent because it dissolves many substances, forming aqueous solution. Aqueous solution का मतलब वो solution जिसमें water होता है. It not only dissolves solid, but it dissolves gases also and liquids also. So you will not find pure water in nature, because every time this water will dissolve many things in it and it will become impure. And that is why water is known as universal solvent. Another point is water is a universal solvent, we all know. And why it is universal solvent? Because it dissolves many substances. And why it dissolves many substances? The reason is it has got high dielectric constant. Now what do you mean by high dielectric constant? It means that it will reduce the force of electrostatic force of attraction between the positive and negative ion. Any compound you take. For example, I'm taking NaCl. If I take NaCl, you all know that there are ions, but because of this ion they are attracted to each other, and there is a electrostatic force of attraction between these two, and thus it forms a compound. Okay, but when this compound is added in water, this force of attraction, that is electrostatic force of attraction, is being broken by water. Water breaks this force of attraction, which is very strong, but then it breaks it, and then it separates it as ions, and thus it dissolves it. Okay, so when I say that water has a high dielectric constant, that means it has the ability to reduce the electrostatic force of attraction between positive and negative ions and dissolves even inorganic compounds. All the inorganic compounds that are electrovalent in nature, it dissolves. So the reason for this solubility is dielectric constant. Sometimes what happens, there are substances which you feel that they do not get dissolved in water. For example, if I tell you that distilled water, if you keep distilled water in a sealed bottle for a long time, then you can see that it leaves etching on the inside surface of the, so it leaves a engraving impression type of thing. Little bit you can see, you can feel when you move your finger, you can feel that something has been cut, or something has been, very small piece has been removed from here. So it leaves etching on the inside surface of the glass. This means that sometimes the things which we see, which we feel are not dissolving in water, they also get dissolved, although in traces, but they also get dissolved. Now this is the experiment to show that top tap water contains dissolved salt. This is the double boiling process, where you are keeping a watch glass over hot water, and then it starts, the water in the watch glass, which is tap water, starts boiling, and after evaporation you can see this type of structure, and these are the rings of the salt which are dissolved in tap water. But suppose if you take distilled water and you do this process, nothing will be left on the watch glass. It shows that tap water contains dissolved solids. So this is the observation, that when you look at the watch glass against light, number of concentric ring of solid matters are seen. These are dissolved solids left behind after evaporation of water. So tap water, river water, well water, these all contain dissolved solids, whereas rainwater, which is a sort of distilled water, do not contain dissolved solid, and thus these rings are not formed. Why these salts are dissolved in water? The importance is that these dissolved solids are actually salt, minerals, and some impurities. So salt and minerals are essential for the growth and development of plant. They add taste to water and they supply essential mineral needed by our bodies also. So air is present in dissolved state in all natural sources of water, and since there are two main components of air, and the main components are nitrogen and oxygen, so out of these, oxygen is more soluble in water than nitrogen. And since oxygen is more soluble, the composition of air which is dissolved in water is different from the ordinary air. The composition which you have studied in air is not applicable here, because here oxygen is more soluble than nitrogen. So let's see the composition of air dissolved in water. What is the composition of air dissolved in water? 33% oxygen. Oxygen is 33%. Ordinary air has 21% of oxygen, but here in water it is 33% and 66% nitrogen as compared to 78% in ordinary air and 1% carbon dioxide. So this is the composition of air dissolved in water. So, and why it is it is dissolved, you all know, so that marine life can use this oxygen for respiration. Okay, so now we'll see the activity or experiment that tap water contains dissolved gases or air. So what they have done, they have filled a round bottom flask completely with tap water. This is tap water, and here they have arranged the apparatus as you can see here. This is the apparatus. The whole apparatus is set up like this. Then they have taken a graduated tube or burette which is filled completely with water. You can see here, this is completely filled with water and it is inverted over the end of the delivery tube. This is the delivery tube which is coming down. So in this delivery tube, it goes in the trough of water. So, and then we are heating the water in the flask. Now what will happen? When you will heat the water in the flask, when this is heated, what will happen? You will see some air bubbles here. You will see some air bubbles, and these air bubbles start rising in the burette, and you can see them escaping from the water. They will be collected in the graduated tube by downward displacement of water. Downward displacement means water is down and air will be up that water. Now this the sample of this air is taken and the water vapor which is present in the gases condenses on coming in contact with the cold water in the tube. So water vapor condenses and the remaining gas is collected, and then it is the volume of the gas is red. The volume of the gas collected in the tube shows the presence of dissolved gases in tap water. So let's check what is solubility of hydrogen in water. So solubility of hydrogen in water is 0.02 volume of hydrogen per unit volume of water. एक यूनिट वॉल्यूम में 0.02 solubility है हाइड्रोजन की. Look at the difference. H2 dissolves as 0.02 volume. Okay, 0.02 volume of hydrogen per unit volume of water, or in unit volume, that is one volume of water. But HCl, that is hydrochloric gas. This dissolved as 506 volume in one volume. So HCl का 506 वॉल्यूम एक वॉल्यूम ऑफ वाटर में डिजोल्व होगा. तो यू विल सी कितना ज़्यादा सॉलिबिलिटी है हाइड्रोजन क्लोराइड की HCl की वाटर में. हाइड्रोजन जहाँ पे एक वॉल्यूम वाटर में 0.02 वॉल्यूम हाइड्रोजन डिजोल्व हो रहा है, सॉल्युबल हो रहा है, वहीं HCl जो है वो 506 वॉल्यूम डिजोल्व हो रही है. Okay, and how can you take out these gases from water? By simply boiling. As soon as you boil water, whatever gases are dissolved in water gets easily expelled. They come out of the water. उसकी जो solubility है decrease हो जाती है. तो आप इसको इस तरह से याद कर सकते हैं. Solubility of gases decrease when temperature increases. Solubility of gases decreases when temperature increases. Okay, जैसी temperature बढ़ेगा जो solubility of gases है वो decrease हो जाएगी. Okay, distilled water and boiling water have no taste, and the taste of drinking water or tap water is due to the dissolved matter like air, carbon dioxide and minerals. What is the importance of dissolved air in water? First of all, marine life, fish uses this oxygen for respiration, and thus aquatic life is sustained. 1 liter of water contains nearly 40 centimeter cube of dissolved oxygen. Then aquatic plants make use of dissolved carbon dioxide for photosynthesis, that is to prepare their food. जो aquatic plants हैं, पानी के अंदर जो plants हैं. And then carbon dioxide dissolved in water reacts with limestone to form calcium bicarbonate. ये जो shells होते हैं, ये वाला बहुत important point है, इसको learn कर लेंगे कि जितने भी जो marine organisms हैं, जैसे snails हैं, oysters हैं, उनका एक cover होता है जो hard shell होता है, that is made up of calcium carbonate. Okay, ये जो कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट है ये कहाँ से निकालते हैं? ये निकालते हैं ये कैल्शियम बाइकार्बोनेट से, जो कि वाटर के अंदर जो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड है वो लाइमस्टोन जो ऑलरेडी अंदर है. लाइमस्टोन यू ऑल नो इट इज अ टाइप ऑफ सेडिमेंट्री रॉक which later on turns to metamorphic rock known as marble. So this limestone actually reacts with carbon dioxide to form calcium bicarbonate, and this calcium bicarbonate is used by all the marine organisms to make their shell. And these reactions are also, this reaction is also important. तो ये पूरे आपको जो points हैं ये याद करने हैं. Okay, you have to learn this. और कॉपी में आप कर लेंगे. You will write this in your copy that what is the importance of air dissolved in water, and these 2 points you have to write. Now these are some theory of previous classes which we will be revising. Okay, so what is a solution? A solution is a homogeneous mixture of 2 or more components. The solution can be made by adding 2 or more components, and whose composition will be gradually changed by changing the relative amount of the component. Means you can change the quality of solution by changing the amount of component. For example, if I am making a solution of salt and water, I can change the nature and make it more salty by adding or changing the amount of the components, that is salt or water. So what is solution? Solute plus solvent. Okay, so what is solvent actually? The medium of dissolution. Dissolution means इसमें dissolve हो जाए, soluble हो जाए. The medium of dissolution that allows one or more component to dissolve in it. Means what is a solvent? Solvent actually allows the solute to dissolve in it. So it acts as a medium. So that is solvent. And the substance which dissolves in a solvent to form a solution is known as solute. Solution बनना ही चाहिए, वो एक homogeneous mixture होना चाहिए, तभी solute और solvent कहलाएंगे. तो salt और water में वाटर सॉल्वेंट और सॉल्ट जो है सोल्यूट कहलाएगा. लेकिन अगर मैं उसको वाटर को सैंड में मिक्स करूं तो इट इज नॉट अ सॉल्यूशन. तो यू विल नॉट से दैट वाटर इज अ सॉल्वेंट एंड सैंड इज अ सॉल्यूट और सम काइंड ऑफ थिंग. मतलब पहले उसको एक होमोजेनस मिक्सचर होना चाहिए, तभी वो बनेगा आपका सॉल्यूशन. मैंडेटरी अ सॉल्यूशन इज अ होमोजेनस मिक्सचर. अगर सिर्फ दो चीजें मिलाई हैं, दो ही कंपोनेंट हैं, तो बाइनरी सॉल्यूशन है, फॉर एग्जांपल सॉल्ट एंड वाटर। लेकिन थ्री या फोर कंपोनेंट्स बनाए हैं तो ternary and quaternary solutions respectively they are known as. The three things are added, ternary solution, four things are added, quaternary solutions. Okay, तो हम सिर्फ बाइनरी सॉल्यूशन से पढ़ेंगे, हमारा जो सिलेबस है वो डील करेगा सिर्फ बाइनरी सॉल्यूशंस में भी, जिसमें एक सॉलिड होगा और एक सॉल्वेंट होगा। ओके, नाउ मान लीजिए कि कंपोनेंट्स दे एग्जिस्ट इन डिफरेंट फिजिकल स्टेट, वन इज सॉलिड, वन इज लिक्विड, सो वट एवर द रिजल्टिंग सॉल्यूशन इज, अगर रिजल्टिंग सॉल्यूशन लिक्विड स्टेट में है तो सॉल्वेंट जो है वो क्या होगा, आपका लिक्विड कंपोनेंट होगा। ठीक है, एग्जाम्पल देखते हैं, अगर शुगर को हम वाटर में डिसॉल्व करते हैं तो जो हमारा फाइनल सॉल्यूशन बनता है वो लिक्विड ही सॉल्यूशन होता है। तो वाटर यानी लिक्विड जो है वो हमारा सॉल्वेंट है और शुगर हमारा सॉल्यूट है। लेकिन अगर दोनों सेम फेज में, यानी दोनों लिक्विड लिक्विड है या दोनों सॉलिड सॉलिड है, तो जो कंपोनेंट ज्यादा होता है, एक्सेस में होता है, वही सॉल्वेंट कहलाता है। सपोज इफ आई एम एडिंग टू लिक्विड्स and it is forming a homogeneous solution, the liquid which I have taken more in quantity will be solvent. Okay, if I am adding water and alcohol and I am taking 1 cup of water and 2 spoon of alcohol, so water will act as a solvent and alcohol will act as a solute. तो जो ज्यादा होगा वो जो सॉल्वेंट बन जाएगा। किस तरीके से हम सॉल्यूशन बना सकते हैं, बाय एडिंग वो लिक्विड लिक्विड, बाय एडिंग सॉलिड विद लिक्विड, बाय एडिंग लिक्विड विद गैस, बाय एडिंग सॉलिड एंड सॉलिड। सॉलिड एंड सॉलिड को हम अलॉय बोलते हैं, ये हम ऑलरेडी पढ़ चुके हैं। होमोजेनियस सॉल्यूशन ऑफ अ सॉलिड इनटू अनदर सॉलिड इज नोन एज सॉलिड सॉल्यूशन। तो सॉलिड सॉल्यूशन सॉलिड सॉलिड मिला के नहीं होगा, पहले उसको आप लिक्विड स्टेट में लाएंगे, मोल्टन स्टेट में लाएंगे एंड देन यू विल मिक्स इट। तो जितने भी मेटल्स होते हैं, जो मेटल अलॉयज हैं, वो सॉलिड सॉल्यूशंस होते हैं। जैसे गोल्ड है, ज्वेलरी गोल्ड, प्योर गोल्ड कैन नॉट बी यूज्ड इन मेकिंग ज्वेलरी, सो ज्वेलरी गोल्ड जो है वो सॉलिड सॉल्यूशन है, इसमें गोल्ड होता है और थोड़ा सा अमाउंट सिल्वर या कॉपर का होता है टू मेक इट हार्ड एंड चीप। Brass is a solid solution containing 70% of copper and 30% zinc. तो इसमें 70% जो होगा वो सॉल्वेंट होगा, तो 70% कॉपर है तो कॉपर इज सॉल्वेंट एंड 30% जिंक, तो जिंक इज सॉल्यूट। वो सॉल्यूशन जिसमें साइज ऑफ पार्टिकल 10 टू द पावर -10 मीटर होते हैं, उनको हम ट्रू सॉल्यूशन कहते हैं। सो व्हाट आर ट्रू सॉल्यूशन? ट्रू सॉल्यूशन इज द सॉल्यूशन इन विच साइज ऑफ द सॉल्यूट पार्टिकल इज अबाउट 10 टू द पावर -10 मीटर। इतना छोटा होना चाहिए, तभी उसको हम ट्रू सॉल्यूशन कहलाएंगे। ओके, और ट्रू सॉल्यूशन को आप पहचानेंगे कैसे? अगर आपको साइज नहीं पता है तो इवन अंडर माइक्रोस्कोप ऑल्सो you cannot distinguish the solute and solvent particles. They are so small that you cannot identify them, distinguish them, differentiate them under microscope. तो जब भी हम solution की बात करेंगे कि solution, when we say solution, तो generally when we say solution, it is actually true solution only. Now what are the characteristic of true solution? ये important है, इसको आप mark करेंगे. This is important and you will write this in the copy as a question. Write the characteristic of true solution. First of all, it is a homogeneous mixture. The solute particles are very very small, about 10 to the power -10 meters, clear and transparent, and it does not scatter light. Now what do you mean by it does not scatter light? They do not scatter light means when you keep a beaker, you take a beaker and keep a true solution. Suppose you take salt solution and try to put a torch from one end like this. So characteristics of true solution: it is clear and transparent. It does not scatter light. What do you mean by does not scatter light? Look at the diagram here. This is known as the scattering of light by the particles are known as Tyndall effect. Now what is Tyndall effect actually? You can see here a flashlight is being poured on three types of, okay, one is true solution, colloid, and one is suspension. So what you will see when you put a beam of light here, you cannot see the scattering of light here, but you can see here and you can see here. This means that the particle size of true solution is very very small, and that is why it does not scatter light. Whereas colloid and suspension, the particle size are big, and that is why they scatter light. Okay, so this is Tyndall effect, or the scattering of visible light by bigger particles. So you will not see Tyndall effect in true solution. Okay. Next is its component cannot be separated by filtration. Suppose you take solution of salt and water and then you try to filter it. Nothing will be left on the filter paper as residue because it will pass the filter paper, because the particle size of both the solute and solvent are very small, so it cannot be separated by filtration. And the last is the solute particles do not settle down. You leave this solution undisturbed for say 5 hours, 6 hours. Will you see that that sugar or salt has settled down at the bottom of that glass or container? No. So it is stable, it does not settle down. So water is most common solvent, and the solution in which water acts as a solvent is known as aqueous solution. So what is aqueous solution? A solution where water acts as a solvent. Okay. Other solvents can be alcohol, petrol, ether. ये भी याद करना है आपको. To learn this important. Name the other solvents other than water. So it will be alcohol, it will be petrol, ether, benzene, carbon disulfide, liquid ammonia, etc. These are some non-aqueous solution, liquid solvents. These are some non-aqueous liquid solvents which we use commonly. Okay. When the solvent is alcohol, अभी हमने पढ़ा कि solvent अगर water होगा तो aqueous solution होगा, लेकिन अगर solvent alcohol होगा तो जो solution उसका नाम होगा tincture. The word tincture, ये भी important point है. So the word tincture is used. Suppose if I take alcohol and add some iodine to it, so it will be known as tincture of iodine. Okay. So the solution of iodine in alcohol is known as tincture of iodine. So tincture word is used when alcohol is a solvent. What is the difference between dilute solution and concentrated solution? In dilute solution, the amount of solute is less compared to the mass of the solvent. Solvent का mass ज़्यादा होगा, बहुत ज़्यादा amount में होगा, और solute जो है थोड़ा उसके comparison में बहुत less होगा, then it is dilute solution. लेकिन अगर जो solute है वो relatively more for a given mass of solvent, then it is known as concentrated solution. What are saturated solution? A solution that cannot dissolve any more of the solute at a given temperature is called a saturated solution. जब एक लेवल आ गया, जब अब कोई भी जो सॉल्यूट है वो गिवन टेम्परेचर पे और ज्यादा डिसॉल्व नहीं करेगा, चाहे आप उसको कितना स्टर कर लें, हिला लें, लेकिन वो डिसॉल्व नहीं होगा, तो इसका मतलब एक सैचुरेशन पॉइंट आ गया है. नाउ दैट solvent cannot dissolve any more solute at that particular given temperature. कब आप उसको solubility increase कर सकते हैं? By increasing the temperature. अगर आप temperature increase करेंगे तभी solubility का increase होगी. Otherwise at that given particular temperature it will dissolve no more solute. So that type of solutions are known as saturated solution. Okay, now this is very important. Preparation. How will you prepare a saturated solution? This you will write it in your copy. ये copy में जाएगा आपका. Question लिखेंगे. How to prepare a saturated solution. जिसका पूरा आपको ये theory इसकी लिखनी है. First, you will take 100 grams of distilled water in a beaker. Add 1 gram of niter. Niter is potassium nitrate. The formula is KNO3. Potassium nitrate. So niter. Word niter आएगा तो आपको समझ जाना है कि we are talking about potassium nitrate. So 1 gram of niter and stir with a glass rod till the niter dissolve. You have taken 100 gram of water and 1 gram of niter and you have dissolved it. Now you will add 1 gram more of niter and stir it. Again it will dissolve. Again add 1 more. So keep on adding 1 gram of niter till the time a stage will come when no more niter will dissolve at that temperature. No matter how long you stir or how vigorously you stir, but that niter will not dissolve. So now the solution has become saturated with niter at that particular temperature. This is known as saturated solution of niter in water. Okay. Definition of solution. Keywords are homogeneous mixture, solute and solvent. Its composition may vary till a saturated solution is obtained at a particular temperature. आपने solution बनाना शुरू किया, आपने 1 glass of water ले लिया, उसमें 1 spoon of आपने salt डाल दिया, ये भी solution है. 2 spoon डाल दिया, वो भी solution है. 3 डाल दिया, वो भी solution है. एक stage ऐसी आएगी जब वो salt उसमें dissolve नहीं होगा, एक saturated solution obtained हो जाएगा. तो इसलिए composition of solution में vary. What is the effect of cooling on a saturated solution? Solubility of a solid usually decreases with the fall in temperature. बहुत common procedure है. This you all know. Try to mix sugar in cold water. Fridge से water निकालिए बिल्कुल ठंडा सा. Try to add some ice cubes to it, and now you try to add sugar. It is very difficult. Yes, but when the water is hot, it is very easy to dissolve that sugar. तो ये concept वहीं से relate कर लेंगे आप कि when the temperature decreases, the solubility also decreases. Okay, and when temperature increases, solubility also increases. So temperature के साथ directly proportional है solubility. Okay, solubility is directly proportional to temperature. Temperature directly proportional solubility. When temperature increases, solubility increases. When temperature decreases, solubility decreases. Okay, now what happens? Suppose you have taken a solution. I have made a solution. I have taken one beaker. I have heated the water in it, and I have added 10 spoon of sugar to it. 10 spoon of sugar. I have added 10 spoon of sugar to this water. Now this water will take this sugar, and the reason is the water is hot. This water is hot, so it will take this 10 spoon of sugar, and now I have left this beaker in open for say lot of time. Suppose I have left it open for long, then what will happen? The level of water which is there, the level of water will decrease. Okay, the water was here. Now this level of water will decrease, and now water is here only, half. The extra sugar which was there has now become crystal, and the remaining sugar is there in the water. So this will be a saturated solution. ये saturated solution होगा, इसमें और आप sugar नहीं डाल सकते हैं. Saturated solution, but at lower temperature. अभी वो इतना heated नहीं है ना, ये वाला इसमें heat नहीं दिया हुआ है, so this is at a lower temperature. Okay, but some amount of sugar which was extra will come out in the form of crystal. Now effect of heating a saturated solution मैंने आपको बता दिया. अगर आप saturated solution को heat करेंगे तो क्या होगा, उसकी solubility increase हो जाएगी. It can accommodate more solute, so you are increasing the solubility by heating. So how will you make a, ये लाइन बहुत important है, इसको learn कर लेंगे. A saturated solution can made unsaturated by adding more solvent to it. अगर और solvent डाल दिया तब भी हम उसका saturated को unsaturated बना सकते हैं. और कैसे बना सकते हैं? By heating it. So how can you make a saturated solution unsaturated? We can make saturated solution unsaturated by either adding solvent to it or by heating it. Unsaturated solution इसका बिल्कुल उल्टा है saturated का, जिसमें आप solute add कर सकते हैं at a given temperature. It is known as unsaturated solution. What is a supersaturated solution? A solution that holds more solute than it can theoretically at a given temperature is called a supersaturated solution. Now, if you are heating a saturated solution, what will happen? If you are heating a saturated solution, you can dissolve some more solute in it. Cool कर दिया हमने उसको room temperature पे वापस आ गए, तो क्या होगा? उसने तो ऑलरेडी रूम टेम्परेचर पे तो वो सिर्फ 5 स्पून को डिसॉल्व कर सकता था. जब आपने गर्म किया तो उसने 10 स्पून को डिसॉल्व कर लिया, लेकिन जब आप उसे वापस ठंडा कर दिया तो फिर से वो अपने वो 5 स्पून को ही तो डिसॉल्व कर सकता है. तो जो एक्स्ट्रा 5 स्पून है वो कहाँ चला जाएगा? दैट विल कम आउट एज क्रिस्टल्स. ओके, सो लेकिन ये एग्जैक्टली थ्योरेटिकली ऐसा नहीं होता है, थ्योरेटिकली सारा का सारा बाहर नहीं आता है, थोड़ा सा उसमें एक्स्ट्रा रह जाता है. सो द रिजल्टेंट सोल्यूशन विल होल्ड more solute than the saturated solution. This is a super saturated solution. Okay, theoretically तो उसको hold नहीं करना चाहिए, लेकिन वो कर रहा है, तो उसको हम super saturated solution कहेंगे. What is the definition? A super saturated solution at a particular temperature is one that is more concentrated. That means it contains more solute than its saturated solution at that temperature. उस temperature पे जो उसका सैचुरेटेड सोल्यूशन करता है उससे कहीं ज्यादा सॉल्यूट उसके अंदर एडेड है, उसको हम सुपर सैचुरेटेड सोल्यूशन बोलेंगे. सुपर सैचुरेटेड सोल्यूशन इज मेटास्टेबल एंड स्लाइट डिस्टर्बिंग लाइक शेकिंग, स्टरिंग, स्क्रैचिंग the wall of the container or adding solute crystals to the solution. अगर हम सुपर सैचुरेटेड सोल्यूशन में कोई भी चेंजेस करते हैं, उसमें हम इस तरह से कोई भी डिस्टर्बेंस करते हैं, तो वो क्या बन जाएगा, वो आपका बन जाएगा फिर से वापस से सैचुरेटेड सोल्यूशन बन जाएगा. तो वो कैसा है, अनस्टेबल. और उसकी वजह से क्या होगा, जैसे अनस्टेबल होगा तो जो भी एडिशनल अमाउंट ऑफ सॉल्यूट है वो प्रेसिपिटेट हो जाएगा या क्रिस्टल फॉर्म में बाहर आ जाएगा, और फिर से क्या बन जाएगा, वो सैचुरेटेड सॉल्यूशन. So how it is possible to bring down the temperature of a saturated solution without the excess solute crystallizing out of it? When there is no suspended impurities like dust particles are present in it, the solution is not disturbed physically, that is it is left standing still in the container. अगर ये दो conditions आप follow करेंगे तो you can make a super saturated solution. Now coming up to the next topic is concentration of a solution. How will you find out the concentration of a solution? And what is concentration of solution? The amount of solute dissolved in the given quantity of the solution. तो उसमें दो कैटेगरी आ गई. पहला आ गया मास परसेंट. अगर आपका सॉलिड है सॉल्यूट तो उसमें आप मास परसेंट निकालेंगे. तो व्हाट इज मास परसेंट? इट इज द मास ऑफ सॉलिड सोल्यूट इन ग्राम्स प्रेजेंट इन 100 ग्राम्स ऑफ सॉल्यूशन. फिर से एक बार डिफाइन करेंगे. इट इज द मास प्रेजेंट इन 100 ग्राम्स ऑफ सॉल्यूशन. टोटल 100 ग्राम ऑफ सॉल्यूशन लिया, उसमें कितना सॉल्यूट है ये उसका मास परसेंट है. ठीक है. इट इज मोस्टली यूज्ड व्हेन सॉल्यूट इज सॉलिड एंड सॉल्वेंट इज लिक्विड. लुक एट द फॉर्मूला आप याद करेंगे. मास ऑफ सॉल्यूट अपॉन मास ऑफ सॉल्यूशन, दैट इज सॉल्यूट प्लस सॉल्वेंट मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 100. ओके. एक एग्जांपल देख लेते हैं. अगर 10 ग्राम्स ऑफ सोडियम क्लोराइड 90 ग्राम्स ऑफ वाटर में 10 ग्राम्स ऑफ सोडियम क्लोराइड 90 ग्राम्स ऑफ वाटर में डिसॉल्व हुआ, यानी सॉल्यूट इज 10 और सॉल्यूट प्लस सॉल्वेंट हो गया 10 प्लस 90, तो इट विल बी 10 अपॉन 100 मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 100. तो 100 से 100 चला गया और ये 10 आ गया. दैट मीन्स परसेंट है ना, तो इसलिए मल्टीप्लाई 100 से किया तो हमारा 10% आ गया हमारा concentration of the solution. Okay, so this way you will find out. Very easy it is. So इसको just जितना ही करना है हमने. Volume percent. अब अगर हमारा जो solute है वो और solvent है दोनों liquid है तो क्या करेंगे, तो हम वॉल्यूम में नहीं मिलीलीटर्स में या लीटर्स में उसको निकालेंगे. तो वही सेम रहेगा. वॉल्यूम ऑफ सॉल्यूट अपॉन वॉल्यूम ऑफ सॉल्यूट प्लस वॉल्यूम ऑफ सॉल्वेंट मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 100. यहाँ मास की जगह बस क्या आ जाएगा, वर्ड आ जाएगा वॉल्यूम. तो एग्जांपल देख लेंगे. इफ 30 ml ऑफ अल्कोहल इज मिक्स्ड विद 70 ml ऑफ वाटर, तो टोटल मतलब सॉल्यूशन 100 ml का हो गया ना, तो 30 अपॉन 70 प्लस 30 इज इक्वल टू 30 अपॉन 100 और निकालना है परसेंट तो मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 100, सो इट विल बिकम 30%. Okay, so this way you will find out the volume percent and mass percent. Let's see some examples also which are given in your book. इसको हम सॉल्व करके देखते हैं. 2.5 liters of alcohol is present in 10 liters of aqueous solution of alcohol. तो 2.5 दिया है हमारा सॉल्यूट का, तो ऊपर लिख लेंगे 2.5 अपॉन एक्वस सोल्यूशन बोल दिया मतलब वाटर उसमें ऑलरेडी डिसॉल्व है, तो 2.5 ऊपर लिख लिया हमने सॉल्यूट का, नीचे हमने ऑलरेडी लिख लिया 10 और उसको हमने मल्टीप्लाई कर दिया 100 से. तो हमारा जो आंसर आएगा वो क्या आएगा, दैट विल बी 25%. ओके, सो दिस इज द वॉल्यूम परसेंट. लीटर्स में देखा था तो वॉल्यूम परसेंट आ गया. ग्राम्स में मास में दिया होता तो मास परसेंट आ जाता। लेट्स सी अनदर एग्जांपल, 50 ग्राम ऑफ शुगर, यानी सॉल्यूट दे दिया उन्होंने 50 ग्राम, सॉल्यूट इज 50 ग्राम्स, और साथ में क्या दिया उन्होंने, इज डिजॉल्व्ड इन 2.4 kg ऑफ वाटर, तो सॉल्वेंट भी दे दिया उन्होंने, सॉल्वेंट उन्होंने दिया कितना, 2.45 kg। अब हमें क्या निकालना है इसका, हमें मास निकालना है, तो 50 अपॉन फिर सॉल्यूट का 50 प्लस सॉल्वेंट का, केजी में और ग्राम में है तो कन्वर्जन करना पड़ेगा, पहले हम इसको कन्वर्ट कर लेंगे, तो ये हो जाएगा हमारा 2450 ग्राम्स। ठीक है, तो ये हमारा यहाँ पे क्या आएगा, यहाँ पे आएगा हमारा 2450। ओके, 50 upon 2500 multiplied by 100 and the answer is 2%. Okay, so this way you will do the numericals. ये बहुत ज़्यादा easy numericals हैं, आप अच्छे से इसको कर सकते हैं।